What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of SSPN Live. I'm Jude, that's Ethan, and we're here to talk some Spurs. Yesterday, 121, 113 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies without John Morant. But as we know from last season, they can do pretty well without John Morant. Still a team that outmatches the Spurs talent-wise, even, with the Spurs getting Yaka back. So this kind of just continues the theme, Ethan, that we've been talking about over these past couple streams. They really didn't have business being competitive in this game. They fought back a couple times, took the lead in the fourth quarter. I saw Jay Rich hit that shot. So he's continued to kind of be clutch down the stretch, even though these past two games it hasn't turned into a W. Saw good things from Malachi, showcasing his scoring ability, as well as Trey Jones. That was probably the best part about this game, was just getting to see Trey and Tyus Jones go at it. Both leading scorers for the Grizzlies and the Spurs. Good job being competitive in this one. That's kind of my takeaway from it.
Yeah, I thought the final score would be similar with with Devin and Keldon in the lineup. So the fact that they weren't there and we were still able to make it a close game, especially down the stretch,
Mm-hmm.
super impressed with everything that we were able to do. Expected a loss despite John Moran not being there.
Right.
If you just look at the Grizzlies roster, like up and down, they're just better. At this
Yeah.
point, they're just better. Like their young guys are Bain and Brooks and JJJ and Tyus Jones, and all four of those
Right.
guys are significant pieces on that team. And you
Mm-hmm.
can make the argument that Brooks or Bain, you can make the argument that they're the second best player, stars like fringe stars next to a John Morant, who's obviously a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And they have great coaching. They play
Definitely
with
Desmond
great
Bane.
cohesion. Yeah, Desmond Bane's up there. He's one of the best shooters in the league, 3 for 5 last night. And
Mm-hmm.
then they have great veteran presence as well. Steven Adams and their bench always comes to play. Aldama is a very solid piece. He
Yep.
was perfect from the field last night, 5 for 5. And
Zaire
they
Williams is a solid pickup. I remember when he was coming out of Stanford, that was somebody I wouldn't have mind the Spurs picking up.
X-Men, Xavier Tillman, also a very quality backup big.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I, all that being said, still impressed that we were able to keep it competitive the way that we did. Jay Rich definitely helped in that third and fourth quarter, pulling us back into the game to possibly even win it. But the Grizzlies showed their experience in the foul game. We had 24 personal fouls where they had 15.
Mm-hmm.
That's difficult to swallow. They didn't shoot all that well from the free throw line, only 57%, but they still made 20 of 35 attempted. So they were getting to the free throw line. That tells me they were being aggressive, and they understand how to pull away down the stretch. The Spurs only shot 16. They made 14. Great percentage. We're finally fixing that problem, but we're not getting to the free throw line as often as we should be. So that really felt like the difference to me. Plus, we didn't have our two best players, but they didn't have Ja. So at the end of the day, better team. Shout out Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, kind of what I was pointing back to at the beginning of the episode was last year when Ja got hurt and they went on that whole stretch. I think they went like 12-2 or something.
Something like
Like
that.
the
Crazy.
point is they had like a solid winning record,
Yeah.
like double digit wins and single digit losses throughout that long stretch of like 24 games or something. So maybe it wasn't 12-2 because that would only add up to 14, but it was like a 20 game stretch or something where Ja was out and they basically operated and stayed near the top of the Western Conference. So
Yeah.
considering, like you said, with Keldon and Devin out, to be competitive with them, keep fighting back, and end up taking the lead, that's just, once again, a progression from the beginning of the season. This game wouldn't have been as close in October.
Absolutely, especially in the fourth quarter. Usually we get dominated in
Right.
the fourth quarter early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get dominated. We only got outscored by 3.
Yep.
So that's terrific down the stretch
And
play.
outscored them by 6 in the third. So
Yes.
played a solid second half.
It was really the first quarter that ruined it for us. We were outscored by 10.
Mm-hmm.
They came out firing. And that's to be expected. We're not a great team. I'm sure they came out and
Right.
thought that they could just beat us up in the first quarter and go to sleep and we would go away. But we didn't. So shout out to our team as well. The Grizzlies kind of play like the Spurs in a
Mm-hmm.
sense that
Well,
everybody
Taylor
touches the
Jenkins is a
ball.
Spurs guy.
Yes. Yes. He comes from Coach Pop's tree. Everybody touches
Mm-hmm.
the ball. It's unique in that John Morant is definitely their best player, their superstar,
Right.
but he doesn't dominate the ball in the sense that like a Luka Doncic, where it's Luka's going to beat you and nobody else. Like the Grizzlies can methodically tear you
And
apart.
Ja likes sharing it. Like, he likes being
Yes,
flashy. Like, he just thinks of that as another opportunity for him to play the way he plays.
exactly, exactly. I'm a huge fan of
I
JJJ as well.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the past. He is
Mhm.
an incredibly difficult matchup, especially for us.
He's
Sohan's a
super
great player at
versatile.
that power forward spot. But yeah, but he's like a 7-footer that can
Right.
guard along the perimeter like a
Right.
Sohan, but he's also a shot blocker. So
Mhm.
he's literally impossible to scheme up against. He had the double block on Jakob, and then Sohan got the offensive board, try to put it back up. He got blocked as well. So he's an impossible matchup for anybody, not just us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't wanna be, like, there's some point guards that could definitely beat him off the, What's up, Houston? Just I had to acknowledge that for
Yeah, that's great.
y'all listening on podcast. He says, "What's up, fart knockers?"
It's
Love
us.
it. Love it. I don't even know what I was talking about.
You were
What
gonna
were
say that there are some guards that can beat him off the dribble,
Right,
which is
right.
true. But
Any point guard, just to be when it's a point guard versus somebody who's that big, like, it's just sometimes that's a mismatch. But you can really make the argument that he can guard like most twos, like 2 through 5. Like,
yeah,
it's 6'11", and he's got size too, and he's somebody you can play at the center position as well. Yeah, that so exact with matchup nightmare is exactly what you were saying.
Malachi 5 for 11. He was -14 from the box score. Now I didn't watch the first half live. I just
hmm
watched the highlights.
3 turnovers,
Is that what it was? I mean, I thought he played
maybe.
pretty well. He looked
That's what
solid.
I
He
was gonna
hit
say too.
2 for 5 from three. Obviously, getting more and more comfortable. He's not hesitating, getting to the
hmm
same spots. So I don't have any complaints from Malachi.
Yeah, neither do I. I think this game was another example of just his progression. We're giving him 25 minutes a game now. He's pretty much locked in to that, backup backcourt at the moment. And hopefully he can just keep having a couple more, or not a couple more, a lot more than a couple, but hopefully he can keep having double digit scoring games. I think that's a
Mm,
good little baseline for him for the rest of the year, kind of hovering around that 15-point range.
I hope so. I'm
Yeah, that's
curious.
a lot, but
Yeah,
I don't think he's
I,
going to do it every night, but like if he can get to that most nights, I think that's a solid goal.
that bench unit right now, we're running a 5-man
Uh-huh.
rotation. It's Branham, Jay Rich, Stanley, Doug, and Zach. Right. So when Kelvin and Devin come back, I'm assuming Romeo will come off the bench, right? So who is Malachi going to continue to get those
Well,
minutes? And then Blake Wesley's also back. Is he going to come into the lineup?
so he's been on the team for the past couple games, but hasn't been playing. So he's
Yes,
been with the team. So I think that the trade deadline is going to play into a lot of this.
that's coming up. That's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
So, and then Devin's going to be out until after then anyway.
That's true.
So I feel like they're going to keep giving minutes to Malachi.
You think we'll suddenly start having some Jay Rich, Doug
Well,
McDermott rest or injury?
remember that's what we were having before.
That's right. So maybe that's coming back up.
Yeah, but also I could see a situation where, and this could be still be under the same, like, say we are trading them, like that's I don't know what the word is, I can't think of it right now, but that's like the standard for this conversation, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
Um, you could like not play Romeo at all because we were doing that a little bit earlier in the year and still playing Jay Rich and Malachi together.
Yeah,
You know, we started Keita Bates last night, so we might still start. We
that's
would
also
probably
true.
just slide in Keldon, and then you could maybe take out Stanley and put in KBD. But the thing is, Stanley's been playing so well; like he even got more minutes than him last night. And that's another thing is KBD played well last
Yeah,
night.
he did.
I mean, didn't he only scored on the stat sheet, but at the same time, I mean, made good. His shot looked better. That was the one thing I noticed. His shot looked more smooth, and it felt like it was. We saw a lot of bricks earlier in the year, so hopefully we can see more of that floor spacing ability from him on a consistent basis. That is
I guess it's a good problem to have for
right.
Pop. Like he's going to have a difficult time trying to see who he's going to give minutes to because if you do not play Romeo, that's also kind of sad because he's progressed a lot this season, and I think he deserves
Well,
minutes.
I guess what I was saying there is that might be until the trade deadline. You see what I mean?
Okay, it's still yeah. Okay, I see what you're
Under
saying.
that, yeah, the operation that we're trading them. So it could be like just for a couple games to keep, out of respect, give these guys minutes, and then
Yeah,
transition to that lineup that we talked about. I think this might have been on a live before, and sorry to interrupt you, like
no,
on a
you're
long
good.
tangent here, but like where it's going to be Blake, Malachi, and Romeo
Mm,
and then whatever mixture
that's
of
tough.
Zach and the fours
Stanley
after. Right? Yeah, Zach and
or
Stanley.
KBD
Yeah, or Roby. Like those
or
are kind
Roby.
of
Yeah.
they're all rotational. So
Dude, Stanley Johnson's continued to impress, and I completely forgot. I don't know why. I think I was thinking of Malik Monk, but when the Lakers were terrible last year with
uh
Russ and them, I forget that Stanley Johnson was like their second best player for a while.
hmm
Like looking back at that's how bad that they were. But Stanley was putting up some very good numbers.
they needed him like more that they shouldn't have needed him, but there were like games last year where they needed him,
I don't
which
know
is
why I
crazy.
was think like when he came to the team, like okay, great depth player, like he'll give us what we need at that 3-4. But I forgot that he's actually not been like a crazy, but he's played well on a team that was supposed to play well, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it shouldn't be a surprise that he's playing as well as he is my end point.
yeah, yeah. I think he is still like surprising a little bit with the shooting, but
That's true.
everything else that he does, I completely agree with you for sure. Well, I guess we can look in to this next game with the Grizzlies once again. Um, I was looking at the injury report. Keldon and I want to say it might be Sohan, but Keldon is
Mm.
questionable. So maybe you could get Keldon back tomorrow night, which would be pretty cool because with the way the first game went, that might be able to maybe allow us to steal one from the Grizzlies here. Um, but also, if Sohan is on the injury report as well, I know we've got the depth like we were just talking about. That's hopefully both of those guys play, is I guess the main point there. Um,
It'd be a nice little warm up for the big Alamodome game, unless they're just
yes.
trying to save their legs for the Alamodome game. But I don't think you need to. They're both so young.
Looking at the Grizzlies, obviously Jaw's still out, and
Yeah,
Brandon Clark was ruled out yesterday before
I
the game.
forget he's even on the team.
Yeah,
That's
see,
such a good piece too.
yeah, they're starting Aldama like he's like their third stringer. He's 21.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And he always plays well.
And he's got potential. Exactly 6'11", 215, like another versatile big. Um, so yeah, the Grizzlies are stacked.
Yeah.
As we've established, I'm trying to find. Here's the Spurs injury report. Yeah, so Keldon, it's not Sohan, it was KBD.
Hmm.
So Keldon and KBD are both questionable for tomorrow. But for Keldon, that's solid because obviously before he was out. So now to move him to day to day where he's questionable, that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
Um, and then with KBD, it was due to a right ankle sprain. So I guess that must have happened in the game yesterday, which might have been why he got 17 minutes. So
Oh yeah.
KBD injury. No. They're like minor though. That's the thing. Like it's not
Yeah.
like he's still gonna play like 60 games.
Solid, solid. Yeah, whatever. I hope Keldon plays. Um, I love seeing him versus Desmond Bain, just like the
Oh
big
yeah.
bodies going at
Oh,
it. That's always a
that's
great
fun.
matchup.
That's fun for sure. Uh Aaliyah says Stanley Johnson was like a 29 or 30% shooter his whole career. And now that
Yeah.
he's with the Spurs, he's shooting 55% since joining last month. Yeah, I want to say I saw before, it's probably gone up from that updated number, but a couple of games ago, they put that graphic up on the screen. I want to say it was at like 52. So I think it's still gone up, but like that is pretty nuts. That's the one thing that like since he's got here. And that ties into also and I may have mentioned this on another live as well, but just the Spurs shooting fixing thing with Chip England gone in Oklahoma City now. I didn't word that the most elegantly, but you know what I'm saying. The
I know what you're
Spurs can
saying.
still fix jump shots. That's what there's still a little bit of life there, even despite Chip's absence or work for a division rival.
Correct. Very well said.
Yeah. So love to see that from Stanley from 3 in San Antonio. Houston says Malachi is definitely a system player. As he becomes more acclimated to the system, he'll really shine. He's definitely learning out there for sure right now. And once he learns what to do, I get what you're saying there for sure. I wouldn't say that he's like necessarily just a system player, but I think what you're saying is that once he gets acclimated to the system, that is where he begins to shine, which would line up with what happened at Ohio State because really he was a true freshman. And then in the last 20 games of the year, that's really where he came on and was averaging like 20 and 5 assists per game. So I don't like he is and he isn't for those because I know when a lot of people hear system player, they think like, oh, he's like a, like
Jay
like a
Crowder.
Patty Mills, right? Like when in prime Spurs.
Yeah.
But see, he has a higher potential than that. But I still agree with the sentiment that it takes him a little bit to get acclimated, and once he knows it, that's when he's really going to shine. You can't just put him in there and he's going to get buckets immediately, where you can with some guys.
Yeah, it depends on your definition of system player. I would
Right.
disagree with what he said, Houston, only because to me, Malachi scores in the same way that Steve Smith scores, or maybe if you want to go Joe Johnson, these kind of guys that they themselves are a system. Like the way that they score is very mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
They score off the dribble. They can get you in that mid-range area, and create space with their bag and either make a shot for themselves or create a shot for somebody else, which is rare and it's difficult. But once you get to that point, it's special. And if he can acclimate his system into our system, then yes, I do believe that he will continue to evolve even more. He's still trying to find that adjustment. But I think it really all comes back to just his shot mechanics and fixing
Yeah.
that, because if he just gets a little more arc on it, his entire game will turn around.
Yeah. And the great news for the Spurs there is you have Keldon Johnson as a
Yeah.
huge example, because his shot, a lot of people, when I watch other broadcasters, when in the Detroit win, I had the Detroit broadcast for like the first half or so.
Yeah, me too.
And forget what I was going to say. No, they said the Keldon has a rainbow shot. They're like, rainbow shot from Keldon Johnson, but it's like he has a ton of arc. So the fact that
Yeah.
somebody else on the team has that, and of course there's other guys who it's not as high as Keldon, but they have more. But just Keldon coming in, not having a jump shot, and then getting that arc, I think that'll be an easy transition for Malachi there.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at other things about tomorrow's game, I guess the main theme is honestly this is just the lead up to the Alamodome game, which we will not be doing a post game for because I am going,
Yes, sir.
which was out of nowhere. Shout out to my girlfriend for that. Great deal.
Yay.
And hopefully they break the record, and I'm going to be there, and hopefully a bunch of people are going to learn about SSPN. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, pass
Yeah,
out
I'm
cards.
going to pass out note cards. No, yeah.
You should,
The
why
thing
not?
is she might wear the shirt because she has a shirt.
An SSPN shirt?
Yes. So
Heck
I
yeah.
was thinking, no, never mind.
No, what were you gonna do?
I don't have like I have limited gear, and no.
You gonna wear an
Okay.
SSPN shirt?
No, I don't. I didn't want her to wear the Devin Vassell shirt because it's like, she's wearing. I know it's Devin Vassell, but it's another dude.
Oh, so you're gonna wear
Yeah,
the Devon shirt?
well, the thing is, I don't have the only other like Spurs gear I have, which is a shame. Well, it's because these two jerseys behind me. Like
They're hanging up. Yeah.
I think I might take the DeJounte one now. Like it's taken a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, but like they're hanging up. So I guess I could give her one of those. I could give her the Manu jersey, but I don't know. The only other thing is I have is a championship polo, but that's besides the point. We're here to talk about the Spurs, but it's gonna be a fun game. Is the point?
Yeah.
But I might need to get some gear, like go to like Lid's locker room or something, and get some more gear. But I can't believe, like, I feel like I definitely did have more gear as a little kid. Now that I'm thinking about it, I just grew out of it, and now we're at the age where our parents don't just buy us all that stuff anymore. So that's really what I'm realizing. That's the main takeaway here.
It's got really deep and sad.
Yeah, I know. No,
we don't get gifts anymore.
Right?
We're adults. Our lives are dismal.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, okay, back to the Grizzlies. If Keldon comes back, do you think there's a shot at them winning this game? I think they can.
I think there's a shot. Yeah. Of course. I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies are our rival, despite how much we compliment their roster. And if Keldon's there, that gives us an extra, maybe 20 points, 20 plus. He's another threat. He can create shots for other guys, get Romeo going, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. We have a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just excited to see them keep competing. That's the main thing I want to see. I echo everything you said. I agree there. But it's also like I could see a loss too. It's hard to hope for Spurs wins this season.
You never know. We could come out so flat
Right.
and just get behind by 20, and then we'll claw back and we'll go on a run in
Yeah.
a third, and then we'll still lose by 6. Or
That's kind of
somebody
what
else.
happened in the game.
It is what
yesterday.
happened, pretty
Yeah,
much. Yeah, so
right.
I could see that happening again, despite having Keldon there. We'll
Mhm.
see.
Yeah. It hopefully he can be there because it is just questionable. Like, he could not play,
Mhm.
but, hopefully it's a competitive game. The main thing, though, is, like, we have the exact opposite record of them right now. They're 27-13, we're 13-27. That's kind of been a theme for the Spurs over the past couple games. We played the Nets after that one. We had, like, the exact
Mm.
opposite
Yep.
record of them. Well, actually, we're 13-28, but 1 game off.
Besides the point.
Right. Um, the point is that if when we're playing teams with records like this, like, and it's not just all about the record. I'm not saying this is all what it comes down to, but in a blanket way, if we're competitive, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
like, like when a team has basically an opposite record of us at this point of the season, and we bring it to the wire, I'm gonna be satisfied.
My goal, the thing I want more than anything, is not a win. It's close losses. Because if we continue to rack up these close
Right.
losses and we just go get a top 3, top 5 pick, add it to this team, suddenly those close losses become
Hmm.
close wins, and we're that much closer to being in the playoffs and
Right.
back to what we're used to, which is winning.
And you know what I'm thinking also, Ethan, while you're saying this, and we've probably said this in some capacity before, but it's getting guys reps in clutch situations.
Yes.
And that's kind of where our downfall has been. And that just naturally comes with youth. Like, that was going to happen regardless. That's not like,
Mhm.
it's not like they're doing anything they shouldn't be. Well, I mean, they are doing things they shouldn't be doing. But when you're 22 years old in the NBA, like, that's it
Yeah,
kind of
but they're learning from it.
right. That's the main thing. Um, and so to get more, that's another reason why you want close losses. You can just have
Yes.
more and more of those situations and more reps in those situations. But, another thing that I was thinking about that we haven't talked about yet that pertains to the Spurs, you sent me a tweet the other day, a Dominic Barlow stat line down in
Oh, yeah.
Austin. And the last time we were here, I think there have been a couple Austin Spurs games. So we can go ahead and check out those here for a second. But mainly, you sent me one with Dominic Barlow where he had like 16 points, 7 boards, 5 blocks, and like 2 steals.
Yeah.
So definitely his best game as an Austin Spur and just in the G League in general. I'm trying to find the schedule as we talk here. Speaking of which, Scoot is on tonight. I'm thinking about watching
Ooh.
him on ESPN Plus. They're playing the Mexico City Capitanes, I think. I probably totally butchered that.
That's okay.
Um,
That's okay.
but they're 5-1, So I think I'm gonna become a G League truther, Ethan. I
You
think
should.
I'm gonna just
That's
know
your
all.
calling.
See, the main Celtics, they're 6-0,
Mm.
led by Luka Samanic. He's
Don't
coming
forget
for the.
those. Sorry, go ahead, keep going.
I was
Cut
just gonna say he's going for the G League MVP. Go ahead.
you. Don't forget about the Motor City Go-Go's
Oh
and
no,
their incredible
that's the
dynastic run.
capital city
Capital
go.
City,
But there
excuse
is a
me.
Motor City team, so
Motor City something.
your G League, Ethan. Your G League culture. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
trying to find the last Austin Spurs game.
It's no
No.
problem if you can't.
Somehow I got to like January 12th. That was the weird thing. I
Mm.
got like to a weird place in the schedule. A place I shouldn't have been, Ethan.
Oh, okay. Dom Barlow's game though, just that stat line. I didn't watch the game. I don't think you
Neither
did
did I.
either. But
Yeah.
just proving again and again that he's very versatile and he's got a lot of upside, a lot of athleticism. If he can just harness those tools, those God-given tools, and try and get a little more skill, then he's somebody I could definitely see getting a roster spot down the line because he's still only what, 19,
Yeah. Yeah. Or he's 20, I want to say.
20? Okay,
Yeah.
20. Still young.
But yeah, that was a win, the first win on the road for the Austin Spurs this year, beating the College Park Skyhawks. I don't know which team that is. I've noticed there's been a lot of, okay, they're in Georgia, so they might be
Atlanta,
yeah, that would make sense. They're the
the
Skyhawks. Yeah,
Hawks,
they're
yeah.
the Hawks. Yeah. But there's been a lot of G League teams that have like rebranded.
Yeah,
The Spurs were
weird.
ahead of that. We got like Austin Spurs Fiesta jerseys. We've got like this other thing that we do. I forget what it is, but I know what it is, but it's hard for me to describe it. But Dominic Barlow had 16 points, 5 blocks, 7 boards, and 2 assists in that game.
Wow.
Yeah. 27 minutes, 8 for 14 overall shooting. And the other thing about that was I want to say that was his first start because a
Wow,
lot of
okay.
guys went back up
That makes
to the
sense.
Spurs. Right.
So given the opportunity, he grasped it and put up great numbers.
Yeah. You know who didn't do that, Ethan?
Who?
Jordan Hall.
Poor guy.
He went 2 for 3 from 3, which
Okay.
is solid.
That's nice.
Had a steal and a block, 3
Hmm.
assists, but those threes were the only shots he made. He went 2 for 11.
How'd my guy? It's rough.
Oh, I know I know who you're about to ask for.
Tommy Kuzi.
Yep, 19 minutes, 3 for 8, 1 for 2 from 3. At 7 and 6 though, 6 boards, 6 assists, plus
Dude's an animal.
22.
He might become my
Highest on the
new Drew
team.
Eubanks. Give my guy Kuzi
Dude's an animal.
a max contract.
Alizé didn't play.
Oh, maybe that's why we won.
You know, the sad part is like that's not that far off, even though he puts up numbers every time he goes in.
He just drives. Like when he comes up to the Spurs, it's like I'm watching him play. I'm like, dude, do you not know? Like you're a 2-way contract right now. You're not supposed to be dominating
He's
the
like,
ball like
no,
this.
I'm LeBron.
Literally,
I've got the Sprite coast to coast from 2K14.
14. Yeah, he tries.
Oh my gosh,
He's got the confidence.
Austin Spurs, we're seeing some continuous good developments down there for old boy Dominic Barlow, who will probably spend the most time down there this year.
Yeah.
Their next game is against Mexico City in Mexico City on Friday at 7:00. So
be safe, guys. Don't go out.
Oh my gosh. So Spurs play tomorrow against the Grizzlies, and then they have the Alamodome game, of course, on Friday. I guess we can just do a little bit of a preview of that. It's the Warriors. The flip side is this year they've literally only been the Warriors at home.
Yes, true.
So that's one thing. Steph's probably going to play, which isn't good for win prospects, but it's great for me because I'm going and I'm like, I get to see Steph Curry live. Other than that, I think, I mean, it's just going to be an awesome environment. All the videos, everything that's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
Them wearing the Fiesta jerseys, tag team performing at halftime, all of the 90s theme, being in the Alamodome, being on ESPN for once, finally. It's more about that than it really is the game. But hopefully it's competitive, and that's actually like not unreasonable to say. But also there's a chance that the Warriors just blow them out by 30.
Yeah, I'm going to go with option B on that one. The Warriors are going to win. Hopefully it's not a blowout for your sake, Jude, and for the sake of the other 40,000 people in the arena. 65,000.
Breaking the record.
Excuse me. 65,000 people in the arena. But the silver lining, the good thing about this game will be we're on ESPN, and hopefully the nation and the media will actually be like, hey, Keldon Johnson's not that bad. You know?
Hey, the Spurs are actually building something.
Jeremy Sohan's not just a bad shooter. He's actually got some skill. Devin's not playing.
Oh my god.
So I was going to say Devin, but he's not playing.
No, you're so right. That makes me so sad because that, like, if he was playing in this game, that is who everybody would be on Twitter about afterwards. They'd be like, oh my god, who is this guy? And that's exactly what happened. I told you about Deshaun a couple weeks back. Who, like, there are people who have high-level basketball people that aren't in tune with the Spurs because they're the Spurs, and then they see the tough shots that these guys are making and the step backs and their skills, and they're like, oh wow, those are future all-stars.
That's what I hope happens. Sad that Devin's not playing. No. But I will say this, and I'm speaking directly to
Romeo.
Stanley Johnson, actually. I'm speaking to Stanley Johnson right now. Look right in the camera.
Okay.
If we're down by 30 and Draymond Green is in the game, I need you to hit him as hard as you can and start a fight. I don't care if you get kicked out.
No, I need San Antonio will go crazy.
That's what I'm hoping.
We will storm the floor and defend him.
All right, now I don't want to start because if that actually happens, they're going to come find us, Jude, and arrest us for what's the
inciting
law?
Violence.
Inciting violence.
We incited the entire thing. We're not. San Antonio is going to crucify Draymond Green at the Alamo.
Oh, good Lord! And with that note.
I'm just playing. All jokes, all jokes. Um, but yeah, Sohan versus Draymond. I can't believe I didn't talk about that. That should be
Oh
funny.
yeah.
That should actually be really fun to watch. That probably
One
might
guy
be.
screaming and yelling, and the other guy pinching nipples,
I.
and
That's what I want.
yeah.
I want him to pitch Draymond's nipple, and then Draymond just go ballistic and get ejected, and then Sohan's just in the back like, hee, I'm 19.
Oh no. He's so quirky. He's so cheeky.
He's oh, Sohan. I love his different variety of hair and
Mm-hmm. I need a Doug poster again.
oh, we need a Doug poster on James Wiseman.
Ooh. And then we flop him. We trade him. The game after the game.
Trade for him.
Doug for Wiseman, straight
Yeah,
up.
yeah. The poster will convince Steve.
I think so. I forget Steve's coming back. That'll be kind of cool.
That will be. He'll probably. You know what? He might be. You know how they honor. Like
Yeah,
we've
I
been
bet they
doing
honor him.
the 50th anniversary. We've been honoring people every game. I bet you
Yeah.
it's probably Steve. Yeah,
And
that would be a good thing to do.
No,
There
I was gonna
was
say, is there an ESPN commentator that's from the Spurs? But no, none of them played with us.
but we've done that before with people like a
Yeah.
part of like the. I want to say it was
Every game.
Antonio Williams. No, but it was a broadcaster for the Grizzlies. Like
Yeah.
we've had people from other teams who have connections to the Spurs. Like we've honored them that night conveniently, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Every
So
single game.
right. So I could see our boy Steve. Did you see Brent
Yeah.
Berry?
Yeah.
The last game.
love Brent Berry.
That was so that interview is the best because he was like, why are y'all like I see you guys every day. Like, why am I even doing this?
He's the
And, like,
best, dude. I love
yeah.
him.
Oh,
Have you ever
he's
watched?
so
You
good.
go watch his old NBA on TNT. They used to do this show called Open Court, and he was on it a lot. He's got such great, like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
great comments. I love Brent Berry. But I was gonna say, I went to the Bulls Spurs game that one time,
Mm-hmm.
and they honored DeMar, and that was a big thing. And then like in the half, during a timeout, it's like a really high emotion moment for the Bulls scrum, the little, and the assistant coaches were like yelling and stuff, and they're like, we want to honor Bulls assistant coach Maurice Cheeks, and they had like a whole video from Maurice Cheeks, and Maurice Cheeks was like, he like turned around and looked at the video, and he's like, okay, hi. He played here for like 30 games, like he barely had a spur. We like gave him a big standing ovation, and he was so confused.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's
Hilarious.
so Spurs.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up this SSPN live, Ethan?
Let's keep losing, but keep it competitive, so it's
Yep.
enjoyable to watch.
Love to see it. Do you think in the near future maybe we should do like some prospect breakdowns?
We can.
I think do you have ESPN Plus?
I think my cousin has it.
If he does, that is like where all the G League games are on. Like most of the Ignites games are on ESPN Plus. I have the Disney bundle.
Yeah, I have a League Pass, so I have them.
Oh, well, there you go. Right. Yeah. So that's where I've been watching a lot of the G League games. I'm like, oh, free Scoot game. Let's go check this out. And most nights he has like at least 20. So it's fun to watch. And also they have like, I forget, they have some other dudes on that G League Ignite team. Like there was a dude that I hadn't thought of in forever, John Jenkins. Do you remember him?
Mm-mm,
Okay. He played on the Suns in like 2016. He played on the Hawks in like the early 2010s. The point is, it was like when they had Jarrett Jack and Amir Johnson. The first year they did it with Jalen Green, like they had those two guys on the team. But they have like John Jenkins. And there's another person I can't remember, but they have a couple other like former like NBA rotation players on the team, and it's just funny to watch them playing in the G League.
Jarrett Jack was playing in the G League.
The first year with Jalen Green, Jarrett Jack, and Amir Johnson were both on G League Ignite. I'm dead, dude. It's so fun. That's why I've been watching them. Like I've been watching them ever since because it's so funny because they have like random vets.
That is crazy. Jarrett Jack. Shout out to him. I was watching one of his games the other day.
Yeah. I need to go. The other night you were talking about just watching old Spurs games. I need to go back and do that.
Yeah, he was it was a Warriors 2013 Warriors Spurs game 1 semifinals. He was playing.
Was for no, you said Warriors, yeah.
Yeah.
When was he on one of
He went to Cleveland.
But was he on the Kyrie team, the Kyrie LeBron team?
He played with Kyrie, but
That's
not
what I
LeBron.
thought.
Not
Okay.
LeBron.
Okay.
I don't think LeBron. Maybe the
Yeah.
first year, but I'm pretty sure he was like 14. He played with
Right.
Kyrie.
I don't know why that mattered to me. It was just that popped up in my brain. I was like, thought of him as the Cavs, and then I wanted to know. Anyways, our man MEZ says would be dope if they brought out Dennis Rodman. He only played in the Dome, and he never played in Hemisphere Arena or the AT&T Center. So yeah, that would be super super cool. Or just another player that only played in the Dome. It could be David too. I didn't think about that. They could easily do David.
I wonder if
For
they bring
this
out
one.
multiple guys. Like
Just have all of them.
Avery.
Steve.
Yeah, Avery, Steve, David, Steve Smith, like a bunch of the guys that won the 99 when we were still in the we were in the Dome in 99, right? Yeah.
The more we're talking about this, Ethan, I think my main thing is I hope it captivates the NBA's attention for the night, which I think it will.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean it's on ESPN. It's like 6:30. Come on, like so. Hopefully, this is our opportunity to do it, and it's just going to be in a different venue. There should be all the Fiesta gear, all that stuff. Oh, Ethan, we just talked about this whole thing about my girlfriend earlier, the t-shirt. Mm-hmm. We're getting a free t-shirt at the game because of the deal we got. So that doesn't even matter.
Hey, now. Just go shirtless and put that shirt on.
Oh my gosh. Right.
Show up. Me? It was like, yeah. You need the shirt. It's like, I'm going to wear the one you give me in a second.
Oh, duh. well, if you'd give it to me.
Yeah. You have my shirt, actually.
They're keeping it from me.
Yeah.
They need to give me my shirt back. Okay. We appreciate y'all. A lot of banner in this one. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow night for the post game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And then we might do a live over the weekend or whenever the next game after the Alamodome is. We will definitely do that one for sure. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's episode. And follow us on Twitter at SSPN on YT to watch and at Jude McLaren and at Ethan_Quintero to stay updated. We'll catch y'all later. We appreciate y'all.